Good morning. My name is Ashish Devi from the Commissar Secretariat. Indeed, it's my first time here, and I'm proud to be with my staff here, and I look forward to the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish Devi, but I'm waiting for you to give the theme of the month. You just introduced yourself.
My colleague just mentioned.
Oh, okay. I thought what you wanted was to give the theme of the month. Any other hands? Any other hands? Oh, I see one hand there.
Good morning, colleagues. So it's elevating impact.
Thank you very much. You know, Mr. Kaunda asked us to mention that one of the reasons why we are hosting this event is for interaction, and interaction starts right here. Okay? So it's okay to give an opinion. It's really okay. I don't want to feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay? So we have two answers: proud to be an internal auditor, elevating impact. So maybe let me ask the question. Do we all know that the month of May is the month of internal audit awareness? At least use some energy, since you're just answering yes. That's better. Do we all know the theme for the internal audit awareness month? Some energy, Mwebantu, sure. The event is just starting. What more where we're headed? Is that a yes or a no? Is it a maybe?
Perhaps.
Is it a maybe? Okay, let me change the question. How many in here are not internal auditors? So everyone in here is an auditor. Okay, so usually when we have conferences and when we're adults and when we're doing this kind of thing, we don't get to have homework. But since we are not giving answers, let's just take the time to just read about it. Internal Audit Awareness Month is about each one of us with the word about the work that we do. We need to be able to communicate. We need to be able to tell people what it is that we do. Sometimes we get misunderstood because of the work that we're doing, because people are unaware of what we're required to do. They are unaware of what our work means. Remember, we're striving to become a strategic partner with the business. We're striving to get to a place where we work together and they don't feel that we are the watchdogs. All right? So for us, the start is the Internal Audit Awareness Month. You can have all the knowledge about internal audit, you can go in and do your work, but if you're not able to speak to the business and tell them exactly what you're doing, if you're not able to actually tell them to say, look, the reason why we have the month of May is that we need to conduct awareness, and in our awareness, we are looking at A, B, C, and D. And in our awareness, come and join us. This is what we are doing, is because we need to be able to communicate. Okay? So, thank you for the contributions. The theme of the Internal Audit Awareness Month is elevating impact, as the lady stated in the back. Okay? So, the other question I would like to ask is, we are open to suggestions on how you think we could improve these conferences, how you think we could do things better, and those suggestions, did I introduce myself? I assumed everyone knows me. My apologies. My apologies. So my name is Nelly Nsefu. And as Nelly Nsefu, I stand as the events chairperson for the Institute of Internal Audit. So really, you make me look good when you show up like this. Because I can report to the president and say, they showed up. We made it. I made it, Mama. You know that one, right? That's how I feel. So yeah, so really, if you have any suggestions about how we go about this, what we can do better. I know some people have come to my inbox, to my email, and made those suggestions. We are open to suggestions. Okay? So now, I noticed that it's taking a little longer to actually have the table moved. Can I get some help so that we get the program started? It needs to go out.
We left it deliberately because that spot will be open Bakalapanda. So if they can just move it to cover down.
All right, okay. And then isn't this supposed to move down as well? But kutibalepita abantu. Eh? What speaker kutibalepita? Agrippa, can this come any like down? Yapela. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're going to get started. I know that we have had delays here and there, but I really hope that you can just lock in and just pay attention to what is being presented. I know that I have very flexible presenters who are able to take questions. They will advise whether they are taking questions as they go along or at the end of the session, but we will try and catch up. So firstly, we have Mr. Andrew Campolo, who is presenting on monitoring the cyber threat landscape. Mr. Andrew Campolo is a holder of a Master's in Business Administration and Management. He's BS in Computer Science. He holds the CISA certification. He's certified in COVID-5, ISO 27001. He's a certified computer hacking forensic investigator, and he's also an IT consultant. So let's put our hands together for Mr. Andrew Campolo as he comes to take us through the first session. You need this one?
Am I audible at the back?
Need this on the mic. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. This is for the camera, not for the PA system. Or is it?
Hope the technical team can get me. Can everybody at the back get me? The gentleman at the far end? I'm audible? Okay, I'll start. My name is Andrew Campolo, as it has been alluded to. I'll ride on the protocols that the President has earlier mentioned. And I would like to thank the IIA board for allowing me to be able to speak to the internal auditors today. I'm almost becoming a resident of Livingston, because last week I was speaking to the IT professionals at a master class where I was teaching about cybersecurity and things like that. In terms of the agenda, I'll walk you through the basic concepts of security and then speak to the threat landscape and how you can monitor the threat landscape. As auditors, other than just being custodians of governance, you are actually the custodians of cybersecurity as well. Does everybody have a phone, smartphone, with a password? Okay, you're all cybersecurity professionals. Because if your wife hacks into your phone, basically there will be breach of confidentiality. Or if your phone is not charged, there will be downtime, so it won't be available to you when you need it. And if somebody knows your PIN for your mobile money, they can transfer value, loss of integrity for your data. So basically, security is about these three things: confidentiality, availability, and integrity. Nothing to do with IT. It's not an IT discipline. And I was telling the IT guys that it will be important that you request your organizations never ever to allow information security, cyber security to report into the head of IT. What happens is that if that guy has a critical project that he needs to deliver on, and then he hasn't patched the servers, he would let that project go into production. And when it is not patched, and he lets the project go into production, your organization may be compromised. So if the security guy is reporting into IT, it means that there will always be security compromises to your organization. So never, ever, as auditors, allow information security, cyber security to report into IT. The best place it can sit, if you don't want, for political reasons, to have a security head, it's under the CRO. And I hope the CRO in that instance is not the chief audit executive like in most organizations. And I think we know the challenges that comes with having the CRO also perform the role of the chief audit executive, but that's not the topic for today. So cybersecurity is just a subset of information security. So it is a security concerned with technology. But information security encompasses all forms of data. You can imagine even an organization that has all its information in paper can be certified against the ISO 27001 standard, because it's about information, it's not about technology. You classify your information: top secret, confidential, non-confidential, and internal use. That is the foundation of information security. Who has access to those physical records? And when should they access them? And when they access them, what is their roles and responsibility for them to access those parts of information? And the same concept applied to technology. So cybersecurity is not a technology problem, but a business problem. Examples of how security can be compromised: if your availability is impacted, the people that are supposed to use a service or a resource may not use that particular resource. And I'm trying to use examples of physical aspects of security. If the guy that has the keys or the access to the registry is not there, and you have to work and get people's files and work on those files, availability is impacted. The same concept applied to system. If the system is not available, availability is impacted. If you look at private and confidential data is accessed, you lose privacy. If you look at if somebody goes and changes data, they remove certain files, either your marital status on your physical file, or they change who your parents are on the physical file, and you want to claim for something when your parents are not there, that's a loss of integrity. The same way in a system, somebody can go to a database, update your account balance. That is a loss of integrity. I'm sure you've seen what is happening when you're trying to apply for something from NAPSA. We'll have to validate the integrity of your data from an Airtel perspective, from an MTN perspective, from a bank perspective. And if your names are not even matching, or they are misspelled, or they are mispositioned, you go through hell to get something. How many have experienced that? Thank you, sir. Internal auditors don't need something from NAPSA. Loosen up, guys, loosen up. You are in Livingston. You are in Livingston. Loosen up. Take it easy. Take it easy. Why are we discussing information? Information is the new oil. There is no industry which can survive. There is no organization that can survive without information. Even government. Government can struggle when there's no information. And I hope to see a day when the digital reg will go live, because that's a key component of digitizing government services. Just beyond thinking about paper, if our data goes digital, from the time you are born, you have a number up until your death, and that number is persistent. The amount of value that we can generate as a nation from that information is quite immense, because banks will have to connect to that database and government can charge them a fee. The police will have to upload that data, whether you are breaking traffic rules, they upload that data. The insurance companies can use that to profile the nature of the risk that you have to the insurance sector, if you're a bad driver or a good driver, and you can get a premium based on that data. The telcos can use that data to quantify the type of loan that you can get based on usage, based on everything, because they are able to uniquely identify the person that is actually involved with that data. Most of for NAPSA, I think the example is quite live. NAPSA had to go through one of the most painful processes to try and mimic what it means to have clean data. And I think we should thank them for taking that effort. I know most people from a consumer's perspective, we may not understand the amount of effort to just validate a Zambian national that this rate they have, this mobile number they have, this name they have, and this bank account they have, they are actually who they are, because our data is scattered. So we need to start harnessing value from information that we have. The rest of the things like a network, the hardware, the IT personnel, all those are just support to the business, because technology is just used to enable efficient use and processing of information. It is not the business. The business are the core processes that the organization does. I think 8 months ago, I went to apply for my passport. For whatever reason, I think they had printing issues. Every time I go there, I couldn't get my passport. Imagine if my initial passport was in an electronic system and I was just going to give them, they scan it, they get the data and print me a new passport. The service that I can enjoy. Because I missed a presentation, I was supposed to speak in Botswana, I missed that presentation. The economic value and the impact that has, because somebody in the airline business would have been paid if I had taken that flight. Somebody in the hotel sector would have been paid because I would have booked a room. Somebody in the taxi business would have been paid because I would have boarded a taxi to the airport. So the economic impact of a lack of data is quite huge. And that is why when we say data is the new oil, that's what it means. So these are the basic concepts of security. You can stop me anytime if you need a question. I'm very flexible. I'll walk to you with a mic. I think gone are the days when the boss will have 2 secretaries and a T-boy and a person who runs with their mail and the driver and things like that. Because everyone, including government, is trying to optimize resources because resources are scarce. So I did conduct a survey. Thank you to the 38 auditors that responded. You know, auditors, we are very difficult people, I should say. The IT people, I think, had about 100 responses. But for the auditors, I don't know. But yeah, 38 people did respond to the survey. The survey is still active, I think. Most of the people came from the public service and quite a number from the financial services. In terms of how they rate their security maturity, quite a number of people said very good at level 4. And level 4 is where you find companies like Google, Facebook, Lockheed Martin, HSBC, you know, those big top companies. That's level 4. Level 3 is where you find the likes of Most commercial banks, maybe the top 4 and things like that. So those were the results. So very good that we have at least 14 companies. We all are important